The Night Elven host assembled by Lord Ravencrest was pretty impressive, but Malfurion found no comfort in their numbers as he waited for the sound of the horn. Beside the young druid were his brother Illidan, Ronan and Krasis, who were discussing matters between themselves, and Brox, who was simply just staring ahead at the horizon with the patience of a seasoned warrior. Out of all of them, the orcs seemed to understand the overwhelming task they faced the most, which made it all the more frustrating that Lord Ravencrest and the rest of those in command had not once turned to the orc for his experience and knowledge. He was a creature that had fought hand to hand against demons, and yet no one thought to ask him what his opinions might be. We are a people whose downfall will likely come from our own arrogance, Malfurion thought, before frowning at his own pessimism. However, that frown then turned upside down at a glorious sight.
Malfurion, I thought never to find you in all this.
Tyrande's face was indeed glorious. Smooth skin, delicate yet determined features, beautiful hair and eyes that smelled of cinnamon or something. However, Malfurion did note that the novice priestess of Elune currently wore an outfit more befitting of war than the peace of the temple, and Tyrande, seemingly capable of reading Malfurion like a book, immediately hardened, becoming defensive.
You may excel at your new calling, Malfurion, but you seem to have forgotten the elements of the Mother Moon. Do you not recall her aspect as the Night Warrior?
I meant no disrespect to Elune, Tyrande. It was more that I've never seen you dressed so. It makes me all the more fearful that this war will forever change all of us.
At that, Tyrande softened.
I'm sorry. Perhaps my own uneasiness makes my temper short, and the fact that the High Priestess has declared that I myself shall lead a group of novices into this conflict.
What do you mean?
We're not riding with the host simply to offer our healing powers. The High Priestess has had a vision in which the sisters must actively fight alongside the soldiers. She says we must all be willing to take on new roles if we are to keep the demons from victory.
That's easier said than done. Our people have always struggled to adjust to change of any kind. You should have been there when Krasis suggested Ravencrest call upon the dwarves, Tauren, and other races to work with us.
Tyrande's eyes widened at that.
It's a wonder they work with him and Ronan, much less Tauren. Doesn't he realise that?
Yes, but he's as stubborn as we are. Possibly more.
Illidan then suddenly joined, interrupting and causing Malfurion to quieten.
Azshara herself could appear no finer, Tyrande. You look like a warrior queen.
Tyrande blushed, whilst Malfurion kicked himself for not offering her a compliment. Any compliment.
You are the Night Warrior herself, in fact. I hear you've been put in charge of a band of your sisters.
The High Priestess says that my skills have increased of late. I'm one of the swiftest to attain such levels.
Not a surprise.
Before Malfurion could blurt out anything similar, a horn sounded in the distance. 'Twas time.
I have to return to the sisters.
Tyrande turned to address Malfurion specifically.
I just wanted to wish you well.
And out of sheer politeness, she then turned to Illidan.
And you, of course.
With your blessing, we're certain to ride to victory.
Again, Tyrande blushed, and then buggered off.
She looks more suited for battle than either of us. Yes. What a mate she'll make for someone, eh?
Before Malfurion could respond, Illidan also buggered off to take his position beside Ravencrest. Obviously being the noble's personal sorcerer, Illidan was expected to ride alongside the bloke during this march. Malfurion and the others had also been ordered to remain within shouting distance, but not too close to the Lord. Wasn't a good idea to have all the wild cards clustered near the commander.
It's time to go. You'll be coming with me.
Malfurion nodded, and then followed Jared Shadowsong, joining back up with the rest of the main characters as well.
A march at night. How very predictable. Archimonde will note it. Despite their best to adapt, your people are still inclined to fall back to comfortable tendencies. With such numbers, we'll be able to push the demons back. Lord Ravencrest will sweep the monsters from our fair land. We can only hope.
The final horn then sounded, and the Night Elven host then moved as one. Destination, Zin-Azshari. And they made quite good distance through the night, with Lord Ravencrest finally giving the order to halt and set up camp 2 hours into daylight. Keeping in mind, back when this book was written, it was like 3 to 5 days' ride between Blackrookhold and the capital. Anyway, the landscape had been pretty much untouched by the horror of the Burning Legion. To the north of the camp, green hills, and to the south, a forest. One which immediately drew Malfurion's attention. Something called to him. So, as soon as the chance came, he head right in.
You can't just wander off by yourself. I'll be alright, Jared. Besides, I'm not alone. You're with me.
Shadowsong gritted his teeth before resigning and following the druid deeper into the forest. And soon enough...
Welcome back, my Theroshan.
While Shadowsong glanced around frantically for the source of the stirring voice, Malfurion simply waited patiently. A miniature whirlwind then arose, with leaves, brush and bits of stone and earth gathering together, compacting, forming something solid, and then, poof!
I've been waiting, Malfurion. By the Mother Moon.
The giant moved on 4 strong stag legs, but with the torso of just a bloke, albeit covered in twigs and stuff.
I'm happy to see you, Cenarius.
Cenarius smiled, before glancing at Malfurion's companion, who was currently stood deathly still, with mouth agape.
You are welcome here, Jared Shadowsong. Your grandsire was a true friend of the forest.
Jared shut his mouth, then opened it, then shut it again, and then just nodded.
Your thoughts are in crisis. I felt it even in the Emerald Dream.
The Emerald Dream. It had been some time since Malfurion had walked it. Not since he'd used the dreamscape to enter the palace. Not since his struggle against Lord Xavier's. He would have been lost in the dream forever, were it not for his mentor coming along at just the right time, very conveniently. Cenarius noted Malfurion's anxiety, though.
You must not be afraid to walk it again, my son. But now is not the time. There are other parts of your training that have lagged. Which is why I chose this pause to come to you. This pause? What do you mean? The others are still divided as to what to do about the demons. We will fight them, but we are creatures of individual spheres of power. It is difficult for us to work in harmony, but we all feel we know what's best to do.
That news kind of pissed Malfurion off a little bit. First the dragons had failed to show any inclination to battle the Burning Legion, and now the demigods, guardians of the natural world, could not agree on a proper course of action. Felt like it really was being solely left to the Night Elves.
Our time together will not be long. There are some things that I must quickly try to teach you. We'll need use of the entire day.
Nope. Out of the question. My orders are... The Forest Lord again smiled and calmly trotted towards Shadowsong, whose face immediately paled.
He will be protected whilst he's with me, and will be back before he's needed by your commander. I assure you, you will not be shirking your responsibility.
Jared was clearly dumbfounded by all of this, but he accepted.
Return to your other charges. I'll see to it that Malfurion comes back safe and sound. As you say, my lord. I'm not your lord, Night Elf. I am Cenarius only. Go with my blessing.
With one last awed glance, Shadowsong nodded, and then buggered off.
Now, my Theroshan, we must begin in earnest, for I fear we will need all the knowledge we have if we are to save our world from the demons.
Meanwhile, Korialstrasz soared above the realm of the dragons, seeking the lofty mountain peak where his kind made their home. He'd spent most of his long flight considering things. The silence of his brethren, for one. His kind were reclusive, but never this quiet. The great red dragon then began his descent towards his destination, and after a couple of paragraphs of faffing about, he arrived.
It's good that you're back. We feared for you, young one.
Korialstrasz nodded, greeting the Leviathan Tyrannostrasz, before noting that behind the large dragon was quite a lot of other dragons, of all different colours. Blue, green, bronze, and red, just mooching about in the tunnels.
Alexstrasza, is she's well? She gave word that she would speak with you the moment you returned. Graces, too, but I see he's not with you. He would not leave the others. But your condition.
The red dragon flexed his wings a little bit.
He devised a manner by which we're both nearly whole. It's not perfect, but it's the best we could do. Interesting. Tyrande, what happens here? Why are the other flights among our own? She's asked that she be the one to tell you, young one.
Tyrannostrasz then motioned to follow, so Korialstrasz did, and soon enough they arrived at the main chamber.
My queen. My existence.
It's good to have you back. We feared for you.
As I feared in return. No one answered my summons, or explained the sudden silence.
It was necessary. The demand for secrecy is paramount.
Secrecy? For what?
Where is Krasis?
Korialstrasz noted Alexstrasza's tremendous concern.
He chose to stay behind. He managed a trick that allows us to spend time apart from each other without suffering, though.
At that, a small smile appeared across the Dragon Queen's face.
Of course he has.
Before Korialstrasz could outright ask Alexstrasza who Krasis really was, another then entered the room, causing the young red dragon's eyes to widen in surprise. Neltharion, the Earth Warder.
It is necessary that all dragons take part in this ritual. Mine have already done so. The other flights must now do the same.
My final consort is here. The Bronze Flight have come, and although Nosdormu is not with them, they have brought with them a part of his essence. That leaves only Krasis, a single entity. Is that so terrible a thing?
One dragon only? No. That's fine.
What's this about? The demons have reopened the way to our world. Once more they flow through like water, doubling their strength with each passing day.
Then we must act.
We are. Now Tharion has devised a plan, possibly the only hope for our world's survival.
The ebony behemoth took that as his cue, nodding and closing his eyes, revealing a glowy little golden disc hovering in the air. 'Twas a small, unassuming thing, but Korialstrasz had no doubt that it held immense power.
Behold that which will exorcise the demons from our world. Behold that which will cleanse the lands of all taint. Behold the dragon soul.